All right, you guys, day 11. Today we're talking about sugar. So I just want to address right up front that you guys have done an amazing job. And I saw many of you at our member party. Thank you for coming yesterday. I just love our community and I love the community that we built around that as well. So thank you for being a part of that. It's amazing what we can do when we're all focused in the same direction. With that being said, some of us have popped back off of the detox here for a couple of reasons. One, we shared a cheers, and two, the desserts were amazing. I actually took home from the White Elephant gift one of the best pies in our county. So it's in the freezer right now, but I just wanted to say I'm so proud of the dedication that many of you have made. You made a decision right up front how far into this you wanted to be, how much you could give, and you stuck to it. And that, again, that doesn't mean everything was 100%, but it was 100% for you where you are. So good vibes only. Some of you reached out to me early on and we talked about just going through the videos in the MP4s. And that is enough to plant a level of seed so that you can come back. So the reason we're talking about this now, I'm going to talk about a little bit more in the going forward, is because a lot of you have asked me to do this again starting on Monday. So we'll talk about that in the next video, so pop in. So let's talk about sugar. Wow, if this isn't the time to be looking at how much sugar is in our diet. For a lot of people, sugar is the weakness. And in this last decade-ish, we'll call it the paleo movement, I prefer the primal version of that. It was recognized how much sugar is in our diet just normally. That is without even recognizing it or adding sugar in. It's in so much of our packaged foods. It's in so much of our foods in general. So how much of that are you eating in the form of a carbohydrate? And then how much are you processing? Like, these are really important things. I'll try not to slouch because I know I have a light on in the back, sorry. Yeah. A lot of people have gone to the extent of giving up soda and that kind of thing. Cool. Everything in layers, you guys. Like, everything in layers. New research shows that some are genetically much more prone to having a sweet tooth. So that makes it kind of tough. So let's talk about, let's see, do you have a sweet tooth? Most of us will overindulge at times. But the more sugar we consume, the more we want because it affects the brain. So Dr. Mark Hyman has done a number of, looked at research in a number of different ways. And I really like him because he's kind of a down the middle MD when it comes to looking at medicine, which is a whole industry right now that I would like to reevaluate personally. So if you have a really good doctor, you guys hold on to them. It's very important, in my opinion. Okay, so the science demonstrating that people can be biologically addicted to sugar in the same way that we can be addicted to other kind of pharmaceutical drugs, heroin, cocaine, nicotine. It's real. So when you get into that groove and you're like, what the? That is what is going on. There is an addiction that's happening. It's biochemically driven, your brain is involved, activities, all those kinds of things. So I will mention it here because this is the right place, but I do have an emotional eating boot camp. It's 8 weeks of talking about emotions, eating, habits, what all of those things mean, how to go through and break through that kind of stuff. So if that is your jam, let me know because that is something that I'm considering running in the spring. And I would love to make sure that the right people are in there. It's so powerful. And one of the things I'm seeing in these last couple years is we talked about the mental health piece and how that's related to our eating patterns, to those addictions, to the quarantine 15 or 30 or whatever that it is. Those are real things that have happened to us. They're placed also in our lifestyle. There's a lot of programming that's going on externally. This is advertising and marketing. So is it your fault? Ultimately, we are responsible 100% for ourselves. It's very hard to grasp that, but between us and the divine. There are many manipulations, and they've been happening for a long time. So we can say we've had grace, and now we can go in and we can work with fixing that. These are real deep issues, which is why I use the harmony keys, which are kind of behind me over here in the corner. You can kind of see I use this new system. It's not a new system. It's a system, but it's been brought forth new with this beautiful color and very simple. And it's something that I'm teaching in the Wisdom Warriors membership group. So I talked about that a little bit before. That is coming together. I'm going to launch that in January 15th, in the middle of January. So if you're interested in that, please come in, listen, take a peek. I'm going to offer an intro into that. So sugar, so much brain work, you guys, so much brain work. And it's very emotional. I remember for me, my mom always had the stash in our house. And for us kids, we had 3 of us. Our job was to go find the stash somewhere because we knew she had it. It was always M&Ms or something like that. But that was her little jam. And we all have our little jam, right? We all have what that is for us. The sugar piece is big because it's a hard rewiring. Okay, it doesn't mean never have it. But we also want to look at the natural versions of that. And there's so many. So in here, there's some information. The harmful effects of sugar are primarily due to the weight gain that we get from sugar. It's a non-value food, basically. Therapeutically, it might hit our brain, give us an uplift, things like that. But it doesn't offer much in the way of your biology or your physiology, okay? So it seems that we all vary a bit in our capacity for pleasure. So some of us need more, some of us need less. And it depends on what that vice is for you. Exercise can be the same way. We get those endorphins. We're addicted to it on a regular basis. So when you take a break, all of a sudden you're like cranky after 3 days because you haven't gotten your fix of endorphins. So hence the balancer, the mind balance is meditation. Right? We're balancing left and right brain over the corpus callosum in the middle. Oh, my axis is perfect. Very, very, very fascinating. But you're in control. So that's the beauty of it. We get to choose for you. All right. So sugar aliases are in here. I have a whole list for you. Pop in to the member vault today. If you're having trouble in the member vault, so I go in. So one of the reasons you guys are all in here is because I put this on a new platform. And I'm trying to make sure the links work or the articles are attached or the videos run. And so some of you have been sending me a note saying, I can't get to the video on that day, or I can get it on YouTube, but I can't get it in the vault. So I'm trying to clean that up on the back end. So thank you for your patience. If there's something you haven't seen, I'm also trying to make sure it shows up in the Facebook. This automation thing, for me doing it myself, is not very efficient. I like to just come in and do this part, have a chat with you. So if there's a giddy up in there, let me know so that I can go in and fix it. It's really important. Some of them are launching a little bit off. I noticed I can't find my day 11 email, but day 12 is in there. And anyway, thank you for your patience. It's all in there. We can, and if you're not getting something and you want it, let me know, even if this is not in process, okay? Because I am going to rerun this with you guys because I've had so many requests for it, but I'm not going to send out all the emails. This is too many emails for you guys. So let's talk about just a little bit. Despite being stuck with a sugar addiction, low pleasure gene, you may be able to modify activity by modulating your brain chemistry and receptor function with the use of specific nutrients. So that's a mouthful of things. So basically there's stuff you can do to change how this is impacting your brain. In our brain, little receptor, the dopamine receptor D2, or DRD2 for short, must be activated or switched on for us to feel pleasure. The amino acid dopamine triggers this response. So does sugar and other stimulating addictions increase the dopamine storm in the brain. Okay. Dopamine is your happy neurotransmitter, and serotonin is your joy. Okay, so there is a difference in how those are felt. So when we look at neurotransmitters in the brain, which are amazing, your little neurotransmitters are incredible. And this is why gut health is so critical, because you have more receptors in your GI tract, in the gut, in the small intestines, than you actually do in the brain. The capacity for that is so big. This is why the gut-brain connection is huge. So if we have an imbalance going on in the GI tract from a digestive perspective, we start to lose or not have the optimal capacity for that communication in the brain, which is why we want to make sure that everything is running and flowing really well. So happy, joy. It's good. It's good stuff. So in my bioimpedance scanner that I use in my office, in my practice, we look at dopamine, serotonin, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and choline. So those are how choline affects the brain on that. Those are 3 specific items that I look at through your scan, because I'm looking at how it communicates with your gastrointestinal, digestive system, how that impacts your mood, how's your digestion overall, because we get all that stuff stuck in there, like if there's constipation or uncomfortableness, there's an auto-intoxication process. And now we got to circulate all the junk back out of your body that we were supposed to get rid of the first time. It's kind of going back to that, taking the trash out, but not taking out all the way. Why we want to take it out all the way. Okay, so some studies had pointed to drugs or nutrients that can modulate this, they're calling it in the study, a defective dopamine reward response. So everyone knows of Pavlov's dogs. We can make change to that. So I'm not going to go over all of this, but ADHD drug, there's drugs, but we're not looking for drugs in this. And Dr. Bruce Ames is amazing when we look at how we can re-nourish the brain. Okay, we're not getting into stuff like functional MRIs and all that kind of craziness. We're just looking at the capacity that we have to research, measure, and look at alternative options for eating sugar. I know it seems like really deep for just sugar, but it is really deep, you guys. I think I missed, oh, here we go. Balance your blood sugar. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure I get along. I want to make sure you guys understand that most of the time when we're at a level where we feel like it's out of control, this is not about a lack of willpower. There is actually a biochemical reaction that's occurring. And so when we reach for that item, and most of the time it's a familiar item, something from your childhood or something that gives you enough of that stimulation that your body went, wow, like what is that? It could be a certain brand name item. It could be a certain type of sugar that just opened that dopamine response. Chocolate is like that, it is, but not, usually it's good chocolate, it's not crappy chocolate, because that doesn't give you the same, it cuts off the feeling of good when you have to try to detox out all the crud. Okay, so the way we start this, very much with what you guys are doing right now. This is why it's so important to have an eating schedule up front. If you feel like your blood sugar is out of balance, which is you're not losing weight, you're uncomfortable, there are digestive issues, you have to set yourself up in a good window, roughly, I say roughly because it's different for everybody. I like to look at 6 to 12 weeks. So 30 to 90 days, roughly. That's rough. Eat on a schedule. Make sure that your brain is fed, as well as the rest of your body, 3 times a day. You get 3 protein hits a day to help balance blood sugar. All of the other stuff comes alongside, don't get me wrong. But I want to make sure that you're looking at a protein source to help rebalance your blood sugar right off the bat. This is why you'll have seen in the ancestral movements of food, eating eggs or eating actual protein balance, not just protein powder. Now, there's nothing wrong with a protein powder. It just absorbs and has a different impact when it comes to your blood sugar. It can. Okay, are you taking it before you work out? There's all these factors, and that's why usually you'll get with a coach or a consultant or somebody who knows what they're doing, and you'll just take these things right off the top. Super easy. I'm not a fan of eat 6 times a day. It does work, but it also sets us up for the habit of eating 6 times a day. I find that between 2 and 4 times a day is optimal. It depends on the time of year. It depends on if you're using intermittent fasting. Right off the bat, just start with 3 times. And if you're going to use macros, break it up. 33, 33, 33 point, whatever that is, to equal 100%. Okay, that's what I do to go in to measure out where you are. To get to where you want to be, I have to look at where you are. So we look at 2 to 3 days, you do a little food log, and then we move you into a more optimal piece, okay? So a lot of people either undereat or overeat. A lot of times we're not right on the money. So we want to clean that up first, make sure we're getting balanced nutrients, particularly healthy fats for women. Men go through this and they lose weight so fast and they clear their head out and there's all kinds of stuff. Women have a little more hormone circulation and we have other things going on. So 30 days is a great window. Most people notice a difference at 2 weeks. They notice right away. Find the habit that works for you, okay? 3 times a day. Sometimes you have that little extra snack in there. Maybe it's another one, but 3 protein hits a day, and then balance your micronutrients out. You definitely want to get rid of artificial sugars, okay? There's also a list in here on all the names of sugars. Like, they can just call it sugar. They had to name it the gajillion things so that we might not notice. I don't know. There's a whole history behind that. So simple, right? Drop in, have a little breakfast, make sure you eat a good lunch, finish with dinner. So going forward from here, aside from the holiday, I like to use a methodology that is easy to digest breakfast, salad and possibly soup for lunch, right? And I generally will use soup, stew, or a blended dinner. Not for any other reason than it's super easy to digest, my body's cold, and I really enjoy it. So the stews are a little thicker, they have chunkier vegetables, everything is warm. Some of this comes down to your constitution. So if you're familiar with Ayurvedic or the body types, you've got ecto, meso, and endo. Also in Ayurvedic, it's vata, pitta, and kapha. So I think I put that up in here, but let me make sure I put a body typing up. When you go in and see where your body type is, you kind of have an idea of how your body digests, what it digests. And the nice part about that is it kind of also gives you this is the more optimal type of exercise for you. Not everyone is built to do exactly the same thing. So if you like something and it's not optimal for you necessarily, you don't have to go get a $500 test to tell you this is best for your body type. You can go out and test it out for yourself, do the movement, see how you like it, see how you feel about it. It's kind of exciting because not everything fits into exactly the same hole, but you are a bio-individual, a unique human being, and you have likes and wants and needs. So fit all of that in it together for you. Keep exploring and trying different stuff out. All right, sleep. We talked about this the other day. Sleep is so important. If you have a fancy watch, grab it. Like, get it out, take a look, see how much deep sleep you're getting versus REM sleep. I highly, highly recommend it. It's so valuable. I mean, look at that at another time. It won't be in this program, but you can find me. I'll have to put a link up. I have a page now outside of my personal page called Holistic Wisdom, Janelle Lynn. And I will do much better this year at populating it with cool information. So come on in, take a peek. Women Rocking Wellness is my private group. It's free for anyone to join who you want. Bring a friend, hang out in there. We talk about stuff in a little bit more depth because it's not out on a public page. And yeah, and then there's a couple of supplements in here. So this program isn't about a lot of supplements, but I want you to know that you can clear, in my experience, start with food, okay? Spend 2 weeks, 30 days, 45 days. Spend that time using food to clear everything out. Then you test. The reason for that is if you can test up front, it always costs something, right? Right now I'm doing metabolic testing. It's $59. We look at a full 14 different panels. And you can, if you want, you can order that up front in the month of December and use it next year, in the beginning of the year. But the reason I do that is because once a year you should take a look at your lab work. Everybody should take a look. It's important to have an understanding of where you are if you haven't looked. If you're already on track doing that every year with your doctor, stick to it, okay? Super important. Then we look at how, after that initial balancing of food, what's floating to the top, because a lot of the imbalances occur, you've heard this a lot, right? We can prevent most diseases, most, not all, most, through food, right? Through therapeutic lifestyle changes, through nutrition, fitness, and stress management. And that is real. Like, this is actually coming out of study after study after study. So we take that initial upfront, change our diet and our movement and our breath work a little bit. And now I can really see what's going on with the hormones, how the blood is regenerating. It's such a beautiful picture because you are an amazing dance, like in your body. It's crazy how amazing you actually are. I hope you believe that. I hope you come to understand and believe that for yourself. Okay, so then we move into what specifically do we need to rebalance, and that's where we look at a lifestyle map. What are you going to do in 30 to 60 to 90 days? What are you going to do at the change of the season? What are you going to do coming into the summer months? And then how do you prep your body in the fall for the winter? And then we just revisit. We take that $59 lab test, see where we are, how well we've done, how we're feeling, and go from there. That's what's amazing. So when you look up front, most people right now I'm seeing are doing really well. I see minimal things going on in their lab work. But if I don't, then we start to go look at that amazing doctor you have and say, hey, we need a little help in here. What's going on at a deeper level? And then if they need to do their job, they do. Or if they're maintaining things like your thyroid or other things like that, we look at what the most optimal version of that is. We become team you. And that's how it works. I have team me and I have team from a family. It's amazing to look at you, your body, your lifestyle, and understand that 100% we're in control of our decisions. And that's what I want for you too. Okay. Glutamine, tyrosine, 5-HTP. Yeah, these are amazing dopamine supplements. Chromium. I can't even tell you. I use chromium in the energetic world as well when we're kind of working in the hologram and bringing all the energy around and spinning and having fun. And it's so valuable both as energy and as physical. So I kind of got a little blah, blah, blah chatty today. So thank you guys for listening. Remember, you can always just speed this up. Okay, 25 minutes in, I'm going to let you go. Sugar. just start to take it out and enjoy natural sugars. It'll take a little bit of time for your palate to adjust, but I promise you it will. And you will enjoy what nature has to offer you. Personal evolution, you guys.